Alright, I'm back with another tier list. Hopefully this one has a couple less issues than the first time I've tried to record this. Um, I've actually collected my thoughts now, and I kind of know what I want to say. The first recording was over 40 minutes long, and it was kind of all over the place because I was kind of coming up with everything off the dome. I'm still kind of coming up with everything off the dome, but I have a more general idea of what I want to say. Um, This video is kind of in response to the Yakuza fighting game video, which did way, way, way better than I expected. So if you watched that video and you're watching this one now, thank you very much for the support on that. It really means a lot to me. This is all just a hobby to me, and I really did not expect that video to pop off the way it did. And it really means a lot to me that people are willing to sit down and watch the stupid shit that I make. So we're just going to talk about Yakuza. These tier list videos, I enjoy making them and they're easy to make. Win-win. Uh, so we're just going to talk about every Yakuza game that I've played. You can see down there at the bottom there's a couple I haven't played. I haven't played the PS2 games. I haven't played Fist of the North Star. I haven't played the Kurio games. I have played Kenzan and the original Ishin, but I haven't played them enough to really have an opinion on them. I'd say I don't want to form a half-baked opinion on a game I've played for a couple hours. I have played the Ishin remake though, so we'll get to that when we get to that. We're gonna go in chronological order of the series. It's kind of almost release order, but I think it just makes the most sense to do it the serious timeline order. Starting with Yakuza 0, just yeah. Uh, Yakuza 0 is kind of the reason that Yakuza is still around, I think. This was my first game, as I imagine it was many others. I started playing the game in about 2020. Ironically, around the time that the Dame Dane meme was happening, but that was not the reason I got into Yakuza, but I can't 100% say for certain what was it that got me into the franchise, that got me wanting to play it. But what is there to say about Yakuza 0? It's pretty much the best embodiment of what the series is. It's a crime drama. It's a game with wacky side content. It's a brawler. It doesn't hurt that it does most of these things better than a lot of other games in the series. I love the combat. I love the story. I love the side content. There's just so much to love in this game. It's great. I love the story. This really is Majima's game. Kiryu's here too, but Majima is the main driving force. We really see how he steps into the role and assumes the persona of the Mad Dog of Majima. We see what makes him tick. We see who influenced him. We see what drives him. I'll try my best to avoid spoilers in this, but I apologize if anything accidentally slips out. That's a spoiler. um, I love his relationship with Makoto. It's such a bittersweet tale, but it was ultimately what needed to happen. I'm trying to be vague so I don't spoil anything. The combat is great. I love the style switching. It was really what the series needed at that point to really shake things up. I love all the side content. This game has honestly probably the best selection of side content in the entire series, and I think that is part of the reason why the game blew up as it did. I think it has the most memorable sub stories. It has some of the best side content in the series, like the cabaret club and the real estate. The disco minigame, people don't like the disco minigame because they're bad at it, but if you have any smidgen of rhythm, it's fucking great. I love the disco minigame. But there's just so much to love. to the point that it kind of, I don't want to say sets up future Yakuza players for failure, but the series rarely ever gets as good as Zero gets, in my opinion. There's a couple of times it does, but they're a little few and far between. Moving on, we have Yakuza Kiwami. That's a B tier. I should talk about this as Yakuza 1 and as Yakuza Kiwami, because like I've mentioned, I've never played the original Yakuza 1. Yakuza 1, you can definitely tell that it was the first game in the franchise. There's a lot of growing pains here. There's a lot of things here that no other game in the franchise does, because they were still figuring out what they wanted to do with Yakuza. And I can't fault the game for that, you know. But it's just, you can see where they knew they had to improve. The main story is the biggest one. Like, I, by and large, don't really care for the main plot of this game. I think the knowledge and like all the story bits added for in Kiwami, like seeing Kiryu's relationship with Nishiki in Zero, and then all the additional story bits that they added with Nishiki in Kiwami, those are great for setting up Nishiki as a bad dude. But honestly, he doesn't really have a lot of screen time, like beyond the handful of additional new scenes. I don't think Nishiki has a lot of screen time in Yakuza 1. Um, I do like the combat, even though it's just a copy-paste job from Zero. I think it's the best PS3 engine combat out of all the PS3 engine games. The side content is like not really a whole lot to write home about. I think Sega kind of took the wrong lessons from Yakuza Zero's success. They saw the word of mouth that all the wacky side content got, and they were like, huh, so people want wackiness, huh? And they just cranked up the wackiness dial to an extreme degree that I think kind of detracts from the game. Like, the Majima Everywhere system, it's fine. Like, there's a couple encounters that are funny the first time, and then you have to fight him 400 times if you want to max out the dragon style. And it's just not enjoyable. It really flanderizes Majima's character. It's such a departure from who we see in Zero and who we see in later games even. I should say, I am approaching this franchise from the perspective of somebody that has gotten the platinum for every mainline title and most spin-offs. I've poured hundreds of hours into all of these games. It's a franchise I'm so enormously passionate for. But it's just like, Kiwami was not fun to 100% complete. It's just it feels like sloppy seconds. It feels like Yakuza 0 DLC. And maybe if I play the original Yakuza, I will have a different appreciation for it. I don't know. I do have the HD PS3 collection. That's like Yakuza 1 and 2 remastered. It was only released in Japan. I have not gotten around to playing it though, because I'm a lazy piece of shit. Moving on, we have Yakuza 2. Yakuza 2 Kiwami, Yakuza Kiwami 2. Yakuza 2, let me start off with that. I also don't really care for this game's plot. I think it's very heavily carried by Ryuji Sayama and Kawara. Kawara, that's his name. I think those three really carry the plot. With the overall writing of it is just really unmemorable. Like, every plot twist in this game is like, this character is secretly Korean, and they're really pissed off about the Jangwon massacre. It pulls that trick like 5 or 6 times, and by the third time you're like, oh, who fuck isn't Korean? But Ryuji and Sayama, they're like the shining stars of this. Kiryu has a lot of good scenes too. That really iconic scene of him in the rain trying to light the cigarette, and it's like a real breakdown of his character. Like Yakuza 2 pushes Kiryu's buttons in a way that the series rarely ever does after it, and it's really interesting to see. But it doesn't. I almost want to say it doesn't really do a lot with it. Maybe in like Yakuza 3. Kiwami 2 though. Kiwami 2 is to Yakuza 6 what Kiwami 1 was to 0. It's just like a copy paste budget remake, something to put out on shelves. I don't like Kiwami 2. I don't like the Kiwami 2. I don't like the Kiwami 2 parts of Kiwami 2. I don't like Dragon Engine combat. I think there's only one Dragon Engine game that has good combat, and you can probably already guess what it is, but we'll get to that later. I don't like how this game looks compared to Yakuza 6. I think Yakuza 6 is a gorgeous game, and something about Yakuza 2 just is like it's got the green filter, and like they crank up the saturation, which is an issue that a lot of other Dragon Age games have for some reason. I don't know why. I think the side content is pretty unmemorable. Other than like the pissing mini game, I did like that one. Saga, you guys should bring back the pissing mini game. There's the fucking porn photo shoot one where you watch like an FMV video of a Japanese porn star like shaking her boobs on camera, and then you like take pictures of the boobs. Every Yakuza game has like a weird softcore porn mini game. And most of the time they're just like kind of awkward. Like, I'm not hard watching this. I'm just trying to do this for 100% completion. I bet somebody else is watching it for another type of completion though. That was a bad joke. I'm sorry. It's just Yakuza 2 overall is just really mid to me. Just really forgettable. And maybe like with Yakuza Kiwami 1, maybe if I play the original Yakuza 2, I'll have another appreciation for it, but I don't know. Moving on, we have what is probably going to be the most controversial decision I make in this video. I think Yakuza 3 is an S tier game. No. I understand the complaints with the plot and the combat. I don't care. Yakuza 3 is like the one game in the franchise where we see Kiryu get to be happy, and that means so much to me. This dude has suffered more than Jesus, like full stop. And we didn't even see him happy for the whole game. We see him happy for like the first quarter before the plot actually starts. And it's so nice to see. It's so heartwarming to me that we get to see this dude be where he wants to be. We get to see him being who he wants to be. We get to see him being happy. We see how much these kids matter to him. I would go as far to say that Yakuza 3 is the most important game in the franchise for Kiryu's character arc, because it pretty much sets up every plot beat for Kiryu's character development in future games is based on Yakuza 3. I love Okinawa. I love the atmosphere. I love the vibes. But I'm a big vibes guy, and when the vibes are good, it's like it does a lot of heavy lifting for me. I love. This might sound weird, but I love the mundanity of it all. Like Kiryu just being a normal guy for once. Like all the really mundane side stories in Okinawa. I love just walking around the town. It just feels nice. I do like Yakuza 3's combat. People go like, "Oh, Yakuza 3, Yakuza 3." Have you tried like actually engaging with the combat and not just spamming light attacks? Have you? That's that's facetious, but I think people dog on Yakuza 3 too much. It hurts to see it, but it's just it's a game that means a lot to me. It's a fucking bitch to get the plat for though. Oh my god. Expert pool on Yakuza 3 Remastered. If you know, you know. Oh my god. Moving on, we have Yakuza 4. That's a B tier. Yakuza 4 is kind of funny considering this is the first game to have multiple playable characters. It's kind of like the jack of all trades, master of none of Yakuza games. I think it does. I don't have like any major overwhelming problem with the game. Everything it does pretty good. But that's all it is just pretty good. Like, I like all the new characters. I like Saejima, I like Akiyama, I like Tanamura. But they all just play pretty good. Um, I like the plot. I think people blow the rubber bullets twist way out of the fucking water. It's pretty explanatory if you think about it for more than like 2 seconds. Um, but the plot overall is just like alright. I think it has like the least memorable side cast in the entire main series. Like, gun to your head, name 3 Yakuza 4 side characters. um, the side content's alright. I don't like Akiyama's hostess club thing. That's really boring. I like Saijima's dojo thing. I do like that. But overall, it's just a good game. It doesn't do anything spectacular, but eh, eh, you know. Moving on, Yakuza Dead Souls. I am a firm believer that there is a reason Yakuza Dead Souls is still trapped on the PS3, and it is because RGG is rightfully ashamed of it. This game's not good. Anybody who says otherwise has not played it, because it's fucking trapped on the PS3, and it should stay that way. I don't like Dead Souls. If you're like a die-hard Yakuza fan like I am, I think it's good for like one novelty playthrough, just to see it. But other than that, it's not good. The story is really bland and forgettable, and also it has like actual character development for Ryuji Goda, but this game isn't canon, so none of it matters. The story's really bad. The combat is fucking atrocious. Some of the worst third-person shooting I've ever played in my life. The game runs like ass. You can tell that the PS3 engine was not built for this kind of shit. My PS3, she's no spring chicken. I don't expect her to run the game flawlessly, but oh my god, I remember when I was going for the plat, and I was doing the endless dungeon crawling mode, because you need to do like 50 floors of the endless dungeon crawling mode to fight Amon in this game. I was literally in like single digit frame rates for a good half hour. I don't know how I did that. I don't think I could do that now. The side content's pretty unmemorable. I feel like other than in the side content, they don't do as much as they could with the premise. Like, I feel like there's so many fun things you could do with the premise of a non-canon spin-off where, like, yeah, there's a zombie apocalypse happening. Let's fuck around, do some cool things. Like, there's a couple side stories that played up, like, the one where you run around with Daigo, and Daigo's, like, cross-dressing, or, like, oh, there was another one I had on the tip of my tongue, but I don't remember it. But Dead Souls is not good. Like I said, if you're like a diehard, it's good for one novelty playthrough. But other than that, don't fucking play Dead Souls. Anybody who guesses this game up probably has not actually played it. My headset disconnected in the middle of me talking about Yakuza 5. Yakuza 5 is A tier. Yakuza 5 is a messy, messy, messy game. It wears its heart on its sleeve, and it goes big on everything it does, for better and for worse. When Yakuza 5 is good, it's some of the best stuff that the series has ever done. Like, Kiryu's part, Shinada. When the conspiracy is good, it's like, oh my god. But when the conspiracy is bad, it's like, oh my god. It's where they kind of start playing with like the meta aspects of Yakuza. Like the main bad guy, I'm gonna get spoilery, I apologize. The main bad guy is like gimmick is that he hates the Yakuza. He hates what they stand for. He hates Kiryu. He hates Saejima. He like plays on the tropes of the series. Like at the end of the game, when they all have that big brawl at the top of the Millennium Tower to draw the dude out, he gets drawn out, but he's fucking pissed that he gets drawn out. um, the final boss is one of the best in the entire series. One of my favorite fights, probably in just any game. One of my favorite boss fights, I should say, in any game. It's a big game too. It's big and messy. that's the slogan for the game. Big and messy. 5 playable characters, 5 explorable cities, a fucking huge smorgasbord of side content. Probably still the biggest game in the series to this day. It's like overwhelming. There's so much to talk about. When the story is good, it's some of the best in the entire series. Shinada's part alone makes Yakuza 5's plot kind of heads and tails above a lot of the other runs. Kiryu's part is really good too. I really like what they do with Kiryu in this game. Saejima and Akiyama's part, though, I think you could cut them, and the plot would largely be the same. Especially Saejima's part. Saejima did not need to be in this game. He could have sat this one out. I like how he plays, though. I didn't really care for how he played in Yakuza 4, but they tuned him up enough in 5 that I enjoy playing him. Although I kind of have the opposite with Akiyama. I liked how he played in 4. I don't like how he plays in 5. Haruka is playable for the first time. She doesn't get to fight, unfortunately. But she gets like this. It's a pretty basic rhythm game, but the songs that go with it are fucking great. Konen Janai will be played at my funeral as I'm being lowered into the ground. It's a game. It's all over the place. It's like I'm like I don't know what to talk about. I hope that if you've played Yakuza 5, you know what I'm trying to say. It's such a big, messy game. It's hard to be mad at it though for how full force it tackles everything. It doesn't half-ass anything. Oh, it does half-ass one thing though, and that is its condemnation, quote-unquote, of the J-pop idol industry. What a fucking limp-wristed chicken shit half-assed condemnation. They're like, oh, they talk about the horrible things that go on in the industry, but they're like, oh, but you make people happy, so it's all good in the end. No, it's not. What? What are we talking about? Let's move on. Yakuza 6. That's a A tier. Yakuza 6 is interesting. This is supposed to be Kiryu's final game, and it's not, obviously. I like pretty much everything about Yakuza 6 except for the combat. If this game had good combat, it would be the easiest S tier of my life. But the combat just holds it back enough to lock it out of S tier for me. They really should have taken a game to introduce the Dragon engine like they did with Kenzan in the PS3 engine. They should have taken a game, breaking your boots on the engine, get the developers knowledgeable about it, let them fuck around, let them test shit, and then you make a mainline entry in for the Dragon engine. You don't fucking dive right into it. But what Yakuza 6 does right, though, it does spectacularly. I love the story, I love the side characters, I love the side activities, I love the setting, I love Hiroshima. That's a great Yakuza location. I really like the conspiracy. I liked everything that it represents. One gripe I do have about the story, though, is that this is the introduction of the Daidoji, and if you are a Yakuza fan and you've played all the games, that word should be enough to inspire hatred in your heart. But oh my god, if Yakuza 6 had good combat, it would be the best game in the series, probably. Um, I love all the side characters. I love Nagumo. He's a great Kiryu. Is there a term for like the buddies that Kiryu gets? Like Rikiya in Yakuza 3, Shinji in Yakuza 1, Nagumo in Yakuza 6. Is there a word for that? Like in JoJo, there's like the Joe bro. Is there one for Kiryu? Like a Kiryu bro? I don't know. Nagumo's a great Kiryu bro, I guess. I love the whole Hirose family. Hirose's cool. He's played by Takeshi Kitano, who famously hates video games, but they somehow got him into Yakuza 6. And it's just really, really solid. Like Yakuza 5 is really messy and all over the place, but I think it has higher highs than Yakuza 6. But Yakuza 6 overall is just a more consistently solid package. And if they had the balls to actually make this Kiryu's final game, I would not be upset. I think this was a good send-off for Kiryu, and it should have been his send-off. He should not have returned, and I will stand by that forever and ever. Moving on, we have Judgment. I'm gonna put that in A tier too. Judgment is... I like Judgment. I like Yagami. I like the story. The new things that they try, like the detective stuff, it's really half-baked, honestly. Yagami's cool though. I like the story. Probably one of the best like mysteries in the entire series. One of the best conspiracies. The combat, they're starting to figure it out. It's still Dragon Engine combat though. It's weird and your hits have no impact. And Tiger style is like a million times better than Crane style in about every regard, so there's no reason to use Crane style in this game unless you are like doing a challenge run. I don't really care for like the essences or the extracts or whatever they were called, the consumable things that give you like power-ups and shit. I never used those. I like the parkour shit, like climbing on dudes and like investigating, to like doing climbing on buildings and shit. I like that. I like Yagami's buddies, Kaito, Sugiura, Tsukumo. I like the plot. I like the bad guy. I think the plot of Judgment is like the one thing that I could give it over Lost Judgment, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Judgment is just like overall, it's like Yakuza, it's just overall a really, really solid package. I got no major complaints. Moving on. If the combat of Yakuza 6 is like my one major gripe, but the story is good enough that I'm willing to overlook it, Yakuza Like a Dragon is that times 10. Yakuza 7 is my favorite story in the entire franchise, and also just one of my favorite stories in general. I've seen online like people genuinely saying that the story of this game changed their life or saved their life even. Ichiban is, I think, the only guy that could have filled the role of protagonist after Kiryu stepped down. I don't think anybody else could have done it. Yagami is his own guy. I don't think they were trying to replace Kiryu with him, but Ichiban is Kiryu's replacement, and I think he sticks the landing phenomenally. I don't think if they had done like anybody else, it wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have worked. Ichiban is such a fun, infectious, loving character. I love when he's on screen. I love listening to him. I love him. I love his convictions, his morals, his worldviews. I love seeing how he interacts with others. He's such an inspiring character. Like when they were doing Jesus comparisons in Infinite Wealth, that's not even crazy. Ichiban is a Christ-like figure. Oh my god. But the one major gripe that I have with Yakuza 7 is the combat. Yakuza Like a Dragon is when they made the jump to turn-based combat, and I don't think they stuck the landing with it. I don't hate it, and there's like a rhythm that you can get into with it, but it's not that good. It has so many little issues that pile up to just make the experience you just wish you were playing a game with better turn-based combat. And I get what they were going for, different protagonist. Let's try some new combat. But honestly, if they had just stuck to brawler combat, I wouldn't mind. Like, I am a turn-based defender. I like the combat, but if this was just like a one and done experiment, like, oh, let's do turn-based to see how it goes. If we fuck it up, we fuck it up. We'll go back to brawler combat the next game. I, uh, I like it, but I definitely understand why people have issues with it. I see why people are turned off by it. I see it's just I don't it's so upsetting too that like a game this good has such a major blemish on it, but everything else is so good. I love Ichiban. I love the plot. The plot is, oh my god. I'm gonna be talking about Yakuza 7 for a while. I love the plot of it's like I think it's the most political Yakuza has ever gotten. The story of like the gray zones and people that fall through the cracks of society, like homeless people, sex workers, like addicts, all these things that people are like these are people in our society and we look down upon them for it. And it's just I think it's so beautiful that the way the game approaches it, like these are people, they deserve respect, and there's so many forces trying to dehumanize and demonize them, and it's just there's so it's such a like Ichiban is like the perfect character to tell a story like this, and I very easily understand why people say this story changed their life and even saved their life. Ichiban started from rock bottom and he got back up. He never let the world beat him down. He never gave up. He never stopped trying. And it's such a immensely beautiful and gratifying thing to see. Um like the I don't cry. I don't really ever cry at things. Yakuza though has made me cry twice. Once was the one of the post-credit scenes for Yakuza 0, if you know, you know. And then once here in Like a Dragon, the final scene of the game, if you know, you know. It's, oh my god, I was devastated. I was a fucking mess. And it's rare for me to be so emotionally affected by something. I'm not trying to come off as like a Sigma, no emotions, alpha male. I don't that girly shit made me cry. Like I think you need to be emotionally invested in things, but rarely does stuff ever make me cry in the way that Yakuza 7 does. Oh my god. It's just like if you were I think Yakuza 0 is the best starting point, but if you were to play one Yakuza game, I would honestly recommend Yakuza 7 just because of how good the story is. Moving on, we have Lost Judgment. That's a fucking S tier, baby. They did it. They finally figured out Dragon Engine combat, and oh my god, did they figure it out. Lost Judgment has some of the best combat in a video game I've ever played. It's so much fun. I remember when I was grinding for the plat for this game, um, I was trying to avoid doing the Mahjong completion marks. So what I did was I would grind street fights for XP, and then you could buy the Mahjong cheat item with XP, and I grinded street fights for like 6 hours to buy up enough Mahjong cheat items to just entirely circumvent the completion requirements. But in those 6 hours of street fights that I was grinding, I didn't even like just do one busted thing over and over again. I was like actually engaging with the combat, and like it's just so much fun. It's so varied. It feels so good. The story is great. I do slightly prefer Lost Judge or Judgment One's story because of how like personal it is to Yagami. But um, Kuwana is a great rival to Yagami. Um, and it's Soma is one bad dude. It's just, oh my god. I think this is the last truly great title that RGG put out before they entered like the dark ages. um it's like kind of dizzying how good this game is. Like the detective stuff is actually interesting. I like exploring Yokohama with all the little tools, and you're actually like rewarded for exploring in this game. And the soundtrack is great. It's one of my favorite soundtracks in the entire series. I haven't been mentioning the soundtracks at all. I should have. But this game is one of my favorite soundtracks in the entire series. I really like the plot, the whole like bullying aspect. Like it's less of a personal story than Judgment One's is. Like it doesn't really pertain to Yagami at all, because like he's low key just he's a middle aged man kind of sticking his nose in a bunch of high schoolers' business. But it works out, you know. It's not as creepy as I kind of just made it sound. But oh my god, Lost Judgment is so fucking good. I'm like cheesing just thinking about it. Moving on, we have Like a Dragon Ishin. I call this game Kishin. That's a C tier. Just really fucking mid. Just really fucking mid. That's all I have to say. This is the only Yakuza game that was made on Dragon Engine. I don't know if they were intending to stick with Dragon, or not Dragon Engine, Unreal Engine. I'm so sorry. This is the only Yakuza game made on Unreal Engine. And I don't know if they were intending to stick with Unreal Engine, or if this was just supposed to be like a one-off, see what they could do with it. But it's just, ugh. What a fucking ugly, stinky game. And like this kind of goes for the original Ishin too, even though I haven't played it. Like I think a lot of the issues I have are present in the original. Like the story, I think making these historical figures Yakuza characters kind of hurts the plot, cuz when they like name drop characters, I'm like, who is that? And then I have to like go through the fucking character bios, and I'm like, oh, that's fucking Majima's character, or that's Akiyama's character. Like, I don't associate these characters with the historical figures that they're supposed to be. I associate them with the Yakuza character whose face that they're stealing. But even then, beyond that, I don't think the story is terribly interesting. It's like, whatever. I understand this is like a historical setting. It's a very important time in Japan's history, but it's not that interesting. I didn't care what was happening. The combat is pretty lackluster, honestly. This is technically, well, not even. This is not even the first game to have style switching. Technically, Kenzan had style switching before this game did. But the combat's not good. Brawler style fucking blows dog dick. Swordsman is like the only style that feels really fleshed out and like kind of fun to use. Gunman, you just fucking sit 20 feet away from an enemy and just spam the square button like boom, 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 boom. That's not fun. That's just like, I don't want to engage with the combat. Wildflower is like ridiculously busted. It's the strongest style in the game in my opinion, but you just fucking hit circle over and over again to do the spinning combo where you like shoot the gun and swing the sword at the same time. It's not fun. And Kishin added the well, they didn't add it. It was in the original, but like they added it to the regular combat that like summons or like the troop abilities, whatever they were, where you can shoot like a fucking Kamehameha or like just buff yourself in some ridiculously powerful way that just negates any and all challenge of the combat. I think the game's kind of ugly, honestly. Like, it's fine on the original because it's the upgraded PS3 engine, but the Unreal Engine it's kind of ugly, honestly. The side content I don't think is really all that memorable, like the fucking dungeon or like the chicken racing or the fan dancing one. That one was weird. I do like the karaoke in this game. There's some really good songs on there. Like Samurai Ando is one of my personal favorites. That's a great song. But it's not. It's just really overwhelmingly mid. And plus the grind to get 100% completion is a fucking nightmare. And that's even after like they patched stuff to like make it easier. I remember when this game came out, I had a buddy, he was grinding. So one of the things you have to do for 100% completion is you have to forge all the seals. Like there's seals that you can put on weapons, so you have them buffs and stuff. You have to forge a weapon with every type of seal. And there was one specific type of seal that you could only get from like one specific enemy. He would drop a weapon that would have the seal, and you would put the seal from that weapon onto another weapon. And it was one specific enemy in one specific dungeon, and you had to run through the whole dungeon just for a chance to fight the guy. And my buddy, he literally farmed that guy for 3 days straight and got it once after 3 straight days of grinding that guy. And then they patched it, and when I did it, I got it within like a couple hours, which is still atrocious, but nowhere near as much as my buddy went through. But it's just, I don't like Ishin. It's not good. It's, well, bleh. Speaking of mid, we have the man who erased, like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name. What a fucking dickful title. Just call it like the man who erased his name. Or what? Why is it Gaiden? What does Gaiden mean? It's like you can tell this game was supposed to be like DLC for Infinite Wealth, and they kind of expanded it into a whole game for really no reason. Did it need to be its own thing, especially 3 months before the release of Infinite Wealth? But whatever. Also, why did this game never get a physical release in the West when it did in Japan, and there was even an English physical release? I don't know. Why did I spend $60 importing a physical release of the game from Japan? I don't know. There's really, honestly, no reason to play this game now, I would say. There's not, like, what does the story add to Kiryu's character other than the one scene at the end of the game where Kiryu gets handed the iPad and he sees like a video of his kids and they're talking to him and he fucking cries his eyes out? That's like the one good scene of the game. What the fuck else happens in this game? There's Shishido was a cool final boss, I guess. I liked Saruno. He was a cool side character. What's the dude's name? The dude, the Daidoji dude that's like Kiryu's buddy. Hanawa. I like Hanawa. I think that's his name. Hanawa. I like him. But like, what happens in this game? Nothing. Nothing happens. It's like 10 hours of jerking off, and then you watch Kiryu cry. Although, to be fair, that scene of Kiryu crying is really, really good, but I don't think it's worth playing through Man Who Erased His Name just for that one scene. I don't advocate skipping things. I think if you're going to interact with a piece of media, you should interact with all parts of it. But I would not fault you for skipping Man Who Erased His Name if you were to. That's my 2 cents. Alright. Infinite Wealth. That's a B tier. Ugh. Yakuza, this is like the opposite of Yakuza 5. Yakuza 5 is big and messy, but the good outweighs the bad. Yakuza Infinite Wealth, like the Dragon Infinite Wealth, is big and messy, but the bad outweighs the good, in my opinion. The story is not good. My buddy that grinded Kishin for 3 days straight, he fucking hates this game vehemently. We have gone back and forth about this game for 2 years, and he just vehemently hates this game. He gets so worked up over it, and I understand where he's coming from. There's just so many questionable decisions in this game that it's like, what were they thinking in the studio? Like the big things like Ichiban's mother being such a like tossed aside plot point when literally the entirety of Yakuza Like a Dragon was kind of driven by Masato Arakawa being Ichiban's father figure. Like Ichiban's mother, that should be a big fucking deal, and it's kind of just like tossed aside. The shit with the cult, I forget what they're called, but they were led by that white dude. That's like, that doesn't go anywhere. I liked Yamai, he was cool, he was like one of the only good parts of the story. There was the dude that was played by fucking, I forget his name. It's the dude on The Good Doctor. He goes, "I am a surgeon," and then there's that Asian dude, and he's just staring at him like stone-faced. I forget his name. Oh my god, I forget his name. But I hope you guys know who I'm talking about. He's in this game, and he plays a Chinese dude, and he gets iced like 2 chapters after he's introduced, and he's like set up to be a really big deal, and then he gets immediately iced, and it's like, why did we spend so much time hyping this dude up? Danny Trejo's in the game, and he pisses his pants. That's cool. One big problem that I have with this game, there's too many party members. There's like 10 party members in this game, and it like gets a little ridiculous how many people Ichiban drags around. Like, realistically, we should just be jumping dudes. Why is there like any tension in the story at all when there's like 10 dudes walking around behind Ichiban? Well, I mean, they like split in 2, but still, like, there's like 5 people following Ichiban around. Let's just jump the dude. Why is he a threat? I think if they do another turn-based game, they need to like lower the amount of party members by a lot, and also like, since there's so many party members, a couple of them really suffer in the screen time department. Like, what do Jungi Han and Zhao do in Infinite Wealth? What do they contribute to the plot? Nothing. I don't even. How many dialogue scenes do they have? Are they important to the plot at all? No, they're not. Or like, Nanba, low-key, doesn't need to be in this game. He gets replaced by Tomizawa. Tomizawa is basically just like Nanba 2. You can make an argument for Chitose being Saiko too, but Saiko is actually kind of important to this game's plot in a really stupid way that it still pisses me off when I think about it. And that the whole thing with Ichiban and Saiko, it feels really out of left field. I apologize, my fucking shitty ass headset turned off again. I've been talking for so long. I don't know where it cut off at, so I'm just gonna go back to the last point I was on. I understand Ichiban developing feelings for Saiko. I think that's a natural step to take. But they just go about it in the dumbest way possible. It's just so frustrating. There's a lot of really potentially good moments that just fall flat. Especially with Kiryu. Like, the dude's dying of cancer, but it doesn't even feel like this is going to be his last game. If they bring Kiryu back for another playable role, I've already been pissed off enough by the studio enough to I don't want to buy their next game. But if they were to bring Kiryu back for another there's no way they do. There's no way they do. But I'm not 100% sure that they're not going to bring him back. Like, there's doubt in my mind. I'm like, they could bring him back because they are like afraid to permanently get rid of Kiryu. They improve upon the combat, but it's like improving on a dog turd. It's like you're upgrading from like splatty diarrhea to just like a solid turd. It's still a fucking turd. Um, the side content is alright. It's fine. It's whatever. Um, there's not really a lot of like memorable sub stories. Um, it's a really mixed package in my eyes. There's good stuff here, but it's just such an immensely frustrating game in my eyes. Moving on, we have Pirate Yakuza. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah. I don't like Pirate Yakuza. Pirate Yakuza, I feel like I wasted my money on Pirate Yakuza. I didn't even think it looked that good when it got announced, but I still spent fucking money on it. I still 100% completed it. It took like 30 hours for me to 100% complete it. There's nothing in this game. This did not need to exist. Why is this a game? The story is worthless. Like, why? The side content is like non-existent. This game's like 5 hours long, but it's stretched into 10 hours because there's like the one chapter in the fucking middle of the story where you're just let go on your leash and you're like, do X amount of side content until we feel like you've done enough to continue progressing this 5 hour long story that we've made. The ship combat fucking sucks. I don't like Assassin's Creed Black Flag, but it's just worse Assassin's Creed Black Flag combat. There was the whole thing with Majima having amnesia, but he acts identically like and he isn't different at all. So I don't know why they even gave him amnesia in the first place. I feel like honestly this was this is gonna be mean and like stupid, but this to me feels like RGG testing the waters with how much stupid bullshit they could put into a game's story and get away with it. Like, spoilers, there's a twist near the end of the game where it's revealed that a character has been partaking in an immortality potion made from ambergris, which is like calcified whale spit. We're doing immortality potions now in Yakuza. And it's revealed that Majima originally went on this pirate adventure so that he could find the immortality potion for Kiryu. What the fuck are we doing? And the whole thing with like Mad Lantis, that's fucking stupid. Samoa Joe is the final boss. He's a worthless character. He shows up like 3 times beforehand and he like betrays the other villain lady. First time we've ever had a like actual female villain in Yakuza. Like you could say Son Hee is a female villain, but like she's like just kind of a dick for a little bit in Yakuza 7 before like being like, oh Ichiban, you're cool. But I don't even remember the fucking chick's name in Pirate Yakuza, the villain chick. But she gets betrayed by Samoa Joe, and then Samoa Joe gets eaten by a whale. Oh my god, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Just a worthless, unnecessary game. Just, I said earlier I don't advocate skipping things, but just fucking skip Pirate Yakuza. Not worth it. And then we have Yakuza Kiwami 3. Kind of ended on a negative note, didn't it? I don't mean to be negative, but like, this series just frustrates me to no end. I love it. I love it to death. I am enormously passionate about it, but it hurts to see them take so many missteps with it. and so many like wrong directions, so much lost potential that it has me afraid for the future of the series. Like I've gone back and forth on it so many times now. I am not excited for Stranger Than Heaven, especially now after like the stuff with Bunta Sugawara and Tupac being in the game, even though they're dead. Like, why? Like, okay, Bunta Sugawara, he was Japanese, sure. Why is Tupac here, man? Why is Tupac here? I don't even mean to make it like a race thing, but like, why is Tupac here? It feels disrespectful to like the dead. It feels disrespectful. It feels weird too. Like, where are they getting these facial scans of these dead people from? Why are the estates of these people? Why are their families okay with this? Um, I'm not excited for Strange Than Heaven. Maybe if I catch it on sale at some point, and but I really hope they course correct. I don't know what's in store for the future of this franchise, but what it has given me, I will cherish, the good and the bad, and I feel like I am a better person after playing this series. It's been hugely influential for me, and I only want the best for it, but sometimes I really, really, really wish it was in the hands of a different studio, or the studio was in the hands of different people, maybe. But we'll just have to see. Anyways, if you sat here listening to me mumble about garbage for an hour, thank you very much for watching. This went on way longer than I expected, but thank you for watching. Do that stuff that YouTube likes, and good night.